Arkansas. Jared Jones with the big swing. Tigers win it 6-5. They advance to the National Championship Series. They will face Coastal Carolina on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in search of the program's 8th national championship. Arkansas, they continue to search for that elusive trophy in Omaha. What a ball game. I cannot wait to go through all of it. Y'all smash the like button, please. Get subscribed if you have not already on the YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast app. Please share. Follow on social media, Twitter X at Musso Matthew, on Facebook, Instagram as well. It's greatly appreciated, and let's just go ahead and get right to it. Please, as I said, share. All that is appreciated. What a baseball game. Top to bottom. There is so much I want to go through from that baseball game. But in order to recap that one, you have to start at the end. And that's absolutely where we start. We will get to Zac Cowan. He was incredible. Chase Shores, I thought, pitched his ass off. I mean, you know, there's so many key moments in that ball game. But again, as I said, to recap that one, we start at the end. Where I want to start is in the 8th inning. You look at where this game stood in the 8th inning. LSU is up 2-1. Chase Shores had just come in the 7th. Or I'm sorry, Jaden Newt goes back out for the 7th. I'm sorry, I got to collect myself, y'all. All right. Let's start in the 8th inning. The 8th inning is where we want to start. Shores had just come in for Newt in that 7th and looked awesome to get you out of that. LSU, you had an opportunity to extend your lead in the 7th inning. Dickinson doubles. You try to sack bunt with Braswell. I like the move. Like that is a great move in that spot. Braswell's hitting 193. He didn't execute it. Curiel goes down looking, and Fry goes down swinging. This is all against Gabe Gackle, who had been electric at this point to the ball game as well, just like he was really a night ago. You get to the 8th. Shores comes back out after frigging dominating the end of that 7th inning. And Justin Thomas Jr., who's just been incredible for Arkansas in the World Series, singles to left center. And this was a gut punch of an inning, y'all. Like, LSU has a 2-1 lead at this point. And that flips the lineup over, and Shores gets the ground ball he needs to erase the leadoff runner and put 2 outs on the board. And Danny Dickinson, I don't really know what he was doing over there. Chris Burke even talked about it. I mean, he didn't flip his hips. He just kind of threw across his body and lobbed it. It kept you out of a double play. Aloy singles, great piece of hitting by him on the slider from Shores. And then Shores hits Maxwell. But you're still a double play ball away from getting out of this. And Chase Shores gets it again. Helfrich bounces to third. Braswell starts it. It wasn't a great throw by Dickinson, but it was catchable, and Jones just did not catch the ball, and Arkansas takes a 3-2 lead. And that was a gut punch at that point because, man, LSU's defense had been so damn good throughout the year, all the way. And it bit them. Like, that's not the thing you expected to bite them in that moment, and it was. Ultimately, the very next hitter, Kojo grounds out, and you're in the dugout, and it's just a 1-run game. After 2 quick outs, Jared Jones. And how many times do you see this in baseball where a guy who fails to make a play comes up the next inning and responds? And Jared Jones did just that. He had a horrible at-bat against Gabe Gackle when he entered the game. That was after LSU had put the first two guys on in the 6th. You sack them over with Hernandez, and Jones strikes out. He comes up against Gackle, who had his number throughout this entire World Series. First pitch he sees, fastball, low and over the plate, thigh high, and he launches it and ties the game. First bit of Bears heroics. You're feeling good there. You need 3 outs to get to the bottom of the ninth with a chance to walk it off. You send Chase Shores back out there. You can look at this and go, okay, why not go to Myers there? Why not go to Ianson, whatever? They were not going to go to Ianson unless they had the lead. And that is the right call. Because if you do go to him, you end up losing and he extends, you burn him. You do not have him for a potential closeout on Thursday, or you also just set back when he potentially could pitch in the National Championship Series. You can talk about bringing Shores back out. It's what they chose to do. And he got Kahio Aloy to ground out pretty quickly and with relative ease. But then Robinette finally catches it to the fastball, drives it. Iredale doubles in an 0-2 count. He hung the... he didn't hang. Shores missed his spot just really, really bad. And that got Thomas up to the plate again. And first pitch, slider from Myers. Look, LSU went. It's the same thing they did with Shores against UCLA. Myers is coming in. You are geared up for the heater. 100% geared up for the heater. And he dropped slider, but he hung it. And credit Justin Thomas. He put a great swing on it. And you get the single for Arkansas. They take the lead again. Myers goes strikeout right after that. And you're down 5-3. And you know what? It's not looking good. And here comes Gibbler. Here comes Gibbler for Gackle. John Pearson strikes out swinging. But then Curiel singles to first base. And there's an error. And that was a bad play by the first baseman. That is not his ball. That is the second baseman's ball. And Gibbler could not get over to cover the base. You throw it away. You have a runner at second base. Ethan Fry draws a walk. Milam reaches on a fielder's choice, and this was the play of the ballgame. Stephen Milam hit a tailor-made 6-4-3 double play ball. And Vahiva Aloy, who is a top 15 pick, who has been absolutely incredible all year at the plate and defensively, pees down his leg. He has a tailor-made 6-4-3 double play ball where Stephen Milam is not even to the runner's lane yet. When Aloy gets the ball, he doesn't even look at second. He just turns and gets the lead runner at third base. That would have ended the game. Instead, it doesn't. It brings up Luis Hernandez. He gets ahead in the count and drives one to left field. That ball hit right out of fielder on the line. Man, that's a hard one to judge. The left fielder didn't judge it well. It goes over his head. I don't even think he got a glove on it. That ties the ball game. And Jared Jones comes up. Jimenez comes in, and I tweeted it. You had to get it to run in. It was now or never. And Jared freaking Jones again stays within himself, lets the ball travel, very mature at bat, uses the backside of the field, walk off. Here comes Hernandez, and LSU is off to the championship series. That was an absolutely wild sequence to close that ball game. I don't even know really what that was. It was a lot of clutch performances by two really good offenses. And Gackle finally ran out of gas in that eighth inning. And man, thank goodness he did, because he was carving. But before we go back to the beginning, Jared Jones. Y'all, I sat here, right here, Saturday night on this show, literally in the same spot. And everyone wanted to talk about the 0 for 5 strikeouts. Said, it doesn't move me. Jared Jones, you know what you have in him. Said, you know what? Against UCLA, expect a bounce back. He had it. And how about tonight? He had two really bad moments, and no one will ever remember them because of what he was able to do. That's the guy who you've looked to all year to be the cornerstone of your lineup, and tonight he was. After a bad strikeout in the sixth, after an error, in the eighth, Jared Jones comes through. Let the praise be as loud as the disrespect. You know who you are. Let the praise be as loud as the disrespect, because that kid earns it. What two incredible at-bats from Jared Jones late in that ball game. One to tie, one to win. Just such great resolve by Jared Jones. 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts in the World Series. Since then, he's got 4 hits, 2 homers, 6 RBI, and he just sent his team to the championship series. Short memory. Let the praise be as loud as the disrespect was. That is awesome, and it could not have happened to a better player on the team. That's a great moment for Jared Jones, and one that LSU fans will remember forever. Jared Jones just etched his name into LSU history forever with that swing. All right. Let's talk some big picture from this game. Go back to the beginning. Zac Cowan was awesome. 100% Zac Cowan, awesome. And there were a couple big moments that I want to talk about for him, but here's the key. What have we talked about all year for Cowan? It is strikes. And when he struggled here the last 2 months, it hasn't been enough strikes. You've seen the walk total up. How about 18 first pitch strikes to 21 batters tonight from Zac Cowan? Because that's what you had. 18 first pitch strikes. I thought they had a great plan with Cowan. That is the most he has mixed all season. It was a lot more slider, and he had it working, and it made the changeup just play even better. And the arm side run on the two-seamer was great tonight too. Cowan was locked in. And you know what? It didn't really start that way. He got through those first 2 innings unscathed, but there was a lot of hard contact on Zac Cowan early in that ball game. Credit him. He weathered the storm. He settled in. And why? Because he kept getting ahead. I'll repeat it one more time because it's phenomenal. 18 first pitch strikes to 21 hitters. I said there were a few key moments that I wanted to talk about from Cowan. The first one comes in the second inning. So you have the hard single from Cogiel. He goes strikeout to Aloy and Robinette. It looks like you get Iredale to fly out to center, but there's catcher's interference. So that puts Iredale on first, Cogiel to second, and here comes Justin Thomas, who had been the hottest hitter in the College World Series for Arkansas. And I'll be damned, you saw that at the end of this ball game, didn't you? You saw it a couple times, and he's up. And, man, you thought you were out of the inning. You get called back on the field. That's a big spot. And at that point, the contact had been hard. And he gets a ground out, a fielder's choice ground out to end that inning. That was massive. The other big spot for Zac Cowan came in the 4th inning. Ryder Helfrich leads off with the homer. And, y'all, that was a bomb to center field. He comes back, goes strikeout of Cogiel Aloy, and then Robinette fouls out to right field. That was huge. To see him compose himself and go back-to-back strikeouts, both looking, mind you, which just shows how much in his back pocket he had those Arkansas hitters. He had them completely off balance. They didn't know what was coming, and a lot of that was due to the pitch mix. They go into this looking fastball changeup because that's what he's done all year. And instead, you get a heavy dose of the slider. So those 2 spots in his outings, man, those were huge. In the 5th, he gets you 3 up, 3 down. In the 6th, he gets a Lloyd, gives up an infield single, and they go get Jaden Newt. That was a really big spot in that game as well, because you end up getting Maxwell all the way around to 3rd, and Newt strikes out Kojal swinging. I thought he was awesome for the inning that he was in the ball game for. That was a really, really good bounce back. You know what? For Jaden Newt, we talked about that too. I want to come back to Cowan, but with Newt, we talked about it. The outing in the regional. Do you trust that that was an outlier, and you'll get what you got from him, what you'd been seeing down the stretch of the season? I said I did. Lo and behold, it was a one-off. Jaden Newt was awesome tonight. But Zac Cowan, now in 2 games against Arkansas, remember, and I tweeted this earlier today. That Cowan had struggled in 4 out of his last 5. But the outlier was the game against Arkansas. Game 1, he threw 3 shutout. So now, you look at Zac Cowan on the season against the Arkansas Razorbacks, and you look at a total of 8 1/3, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. He was awesome against that team in 2 outings. And Zac Cowan just turns in a performance that everyone will remember in LSU history as well. Given the struggles he had to come in a big, big spot like that, only his 2nd start of the season, and absolutely shove, that's what you look at. Like that's beautiful from Zac Cowan. He was magnificent. As I said, I thought Newt was very good as well. Chase Shores, y'all, he's been so awesome for you in Omaha. I mean, like, that's the first time Chase Shores has pitched on back-to-back nights, on back-to-back days all season long. He's pitched twice in a weekend before, and that was his 3rd outing of the College World Series. The line doesn't look good at 2 innings, 4 runs, 3 earned. But, man, that guy left it all out there for you in that game. And you know what? He was pretty good. I blew through that recap in the back end. I really wanted to do that a little bit better because I missed one thing that was huge, and that was Jacob Myers. So Jacob Myers comes in, and after he gives up that single, after he gives up the single to Justin Thomas, he keeps it at 2 runs. Like that could have spiraled on him. But he strikes out Davalon. I got the top of the order up and a runner in scoring position. He strikes out Davalon. He strikes out Aloy. That cannot go unnoticed. Those are huge outs. That gave LSU a chance to do this. So, man, all around, awesome pitching performance tonight from LSU. I thought they were all great. Chase Shores, I know it didn't end the way he wanted, but that kid has been great for you in this World Series, and he was great for you at points in this game, slamming the door in relief of Newt. That you had very key moments throughout from your pitching staff, and it all started with Zac Cowan, who was magnificent. Offensively for LSU, that was an absolute grind. And, you know, I tweeted this during the game, too. I said, I know nobody wants to hear this. You just want to be angry at the offense. And I get it. I get it. But Landon Beidle-Sheese was awesome tonight. And you tip your hat to that kid. No, he hasn't had a great season. But what do you see in Omaha all the time? You see guys elevate their performance. Arkansas fans are sitting over there saying the same thing you are about Zac Cowan. This guy's been bad the last 2 months. Our offense is in the tank after they've been so good all year. No one's going to sit here and say that Zac Cowan didn't pitch a great game, right? And look, I don't like saying nice things about SEC teams. I don't like doing that. But Landon Beidle-Sheese was awesome tonight. And he gave Arkansas everything they needed and LSU everything they could handle. That kid had the fastball and the slider both working, 4 strikes in any count. He flipped them over first pitch. He had LSU completely guessing. There was a lot of strikeout lookings for LSU, and you tip your hat to him. And Gackle was really, really good out of the bullpen until that 8th inning where the command finally just got away from him. That kid's going to play baseball for a very, very long time. When I look at some of the opportunities that LSU did miss, I kind of hate to have to talk about them because of the opportunities they got, but that's why we led the show with that. Jay made a lot of interesting decisions with some small ball, with some managerial stuff. Not all of them worked. The one that worked massively, though, was Jake Brown. And I want to talk about this because we have all had a conversation all season long about Jake Brown and should he be in the lineup every day. And I've told y'all, Jake Brown would be in my lineup every day. Like, he would be. In my lineup, he would be in there every day. I think he's awesome. But I will commend Jay Johnson for how he has handled that all year. Because, damn it, it has worked. I can have my opinion on what I would do with Jake Brown. It does not matter. It has worked. Anyone in the world, you can have your own opinion. Anyway, it does not matter because it has worked. And that is not debatable. That is inarguable. Jake Brown against lefties, the splits aren't great. So they don't start him. And like I said, the great thing about that is having him in the pinch hit role whenever you need him. And that was a huge sequence in the game. Because obviously, the bases are loaded because of an intentional walk to Pearson because they were trying to get to Stanfield. And Jay Johnson, without hesitation, goes to Jake Brown. And here's the truth. Here's the cold, hard truth of that. If Jake Brown starts, he ain't hitting 7-hole, guys. Jake Brown's going to be up at the top of that lineup. And he's not in there. He's not able to be up at that spot. And that was a great piece of hitting from a veteran player in Jake Brown, where he stayed on the slider away and just drove it to left field and gave LSU the 2-1 lead. That is a magnificent job of managing from Jay Johnson, inarguable. Who knows who is up in that spot? It works out, and it has worked out the majority of the year. And that's just that. That's why I wanted to preface this whole conversation with saying he would be in my lineup every day too. But Jay has done a magnificent job of handling that all season. That was a huge moment. Now, right after that, you try to steal a run and it didn't work because Jake Brown slipped. I'm A-okay with that call. Danny Dickinson has been fighting it a little bit. I know he had a double in his next at bat, but that was a fortuitous bounce. He just beat that pitch into the ground, and it got over Iredale's head at third. But Brown, I like stealing that run because we're all thinking in that moment, you have to get you have to get that run in and try to get a 2-run cushion in that moment. And they were doing everything they could to do it. I can understand that. Dickinson has struggled. You have scored runs on that before. Brown slips. If Brown doesn't slip, that run scores in that moment. We kind of already talked about the decision to bunt. Michael Braswell, I totally understand that too, man. I totally understand that too, where Braswell's hitting 193 on the year. You're not going to let him swing away in that spot. He just didn't execute the bunt, and nobody felt that harder than him. I mean, the shot of him in the dugout, head in his arms, that was tough to see. But even after that, you have a runner at second base with less than 2 outs, and you go punch out. That's not acceptable. There were plenty of moments throughout that game offensively that were not acceptable for LSU, but a lot of it was also due to the pitching of Arkansas, and you tip your hat there. That's a really, really good baseball team. LSU and Arkansas are the 2 best teams in the country. No disrespect to Coastal Carolina. They very well could win the national championship. The best teams don't always win it. But LSU and Arkansas are the 2 best teams in the country, and I think you saw that. The 5 games between those teams this year, the 5 games between those were all, outside of the Saturday game, those were freaking heavyweight fights. And LSU won 5 of them. And Arkansas, as many People have said it. It's the most complete team in the country. You've beaten the most complete team in the country 5 times, and this LSU team deserves a hell of a lot of praise for that. They now have 51 wins on the year, and they will face Coastal Carolina. I'm trying to think if that's everything that I wanted to say on the game before looking forward. Oh, yo, what? Like, that game was insane. Please smash the like button if you have not already. We got 433 watching, only 110 likes. Do your boy a solid and smash that like button if you have not already. Also, please share. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry, 4 times. You beat them 4 times. Excuse me. Thank you, David. It's it's moving, guys. LSU is 5-0 against Arkansas and Omaha. How about that? And I like synergies in baseball too, guys. I don't really believe in jinxes. Although Arkansas did have a 2-run lead in that game. And they choked it away against LSU. And speaking of synergies, this was the shirt that was on tonight. So, like I said, I believe in synergies in baseball. And LSU played through the winner's bracket in Omaha for the first time since 2009. And the team that they beat twice in that was Arkansas. More synergy. And you know what you do? You have to feel for Arkansas a little bit, man, because they just continue to find a way to lose in Omaha. They find a way to lose in Omaha. And they did tonight. I mean, y'all, Aloy not turning that double play is just a complete brain fart. It's a complete brain fart. And that's what's plagued them forever. I think they will put that one up there with the drop fly ball. It's not quite to the same level because I was actually in the national championship. But you had that. The momentum was all on your side, and you got the ground ball. David sends a $10 super chat saying he has no words. Just take this. I love you, Musso. I love you too, David. Appreciate that, man. All right, let's look ahead a little bit, shall we? LSU and Coastal Carolina for the national championship. Speaking of synergies, LSU and Coastal Carolina. Boy, there's some vengeance potentially here for the 2016 Tigers and the 2016 Arizona Wildcats, coached by Jay Johnson. You don't think this one's going to mean a little something extra to coach? You just ain't really there. Because it will. And Coastal is awesome. And they concern me. And we'll have plenty of time to really talk about this as we go throughout the weeks. I mean, we have plenty of time now with 2 days off. But they have 3 great starting pitchers. Their pitching is lined up perfectly. Riley Eichhoff threw their game today against Louisville. He threw, I believe, 80-plus pitches. It might have been 90-plus pitches. 98 pitches, actually, I think it was. And he was magnificent. He is done until at least relief, potentially on Sunday, if they have a chance to win the national championship. Outside of that, I think he would start Game 3, obviously. You're looking at Cameron Fluke, who has been their ace this season. Well, one of their aces. Coastal Carolina leads. They're second in the nation in ERA. And you can talk about, competition in the Sun Belt and all that. But the fact of the matter remains there. They've done this in the postseason. They went through Auburn and dominated Auburn on the mound. They took down a great Oregon State team. Not a great Oregon State team, a good Oregon State team. With their pitching, they've been awesome on the mound all year, and it's real arms. Cameron Fluke is their Game 1 starter. He will be ready to go. He will be on an extra day's rest because, remember, they played Friday, and he's been really good this year. 7-1 with a 3.29 ERA. It's a fastball that gets up to the mid-90s, maybe even upper. He'll run a 96, 97 past you. He's got a great arm, and he's a strike thrower. Only 22 walks to 109 strikeouts. He's awesome. And then Jacob Morrison is their ace. He's the Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year, but he goes game 2. He pitched Sunday, so I would expect him to pitch Sunday in game number 2 as well. A 2.08 ERA. The cutter is his best pitch, and it is absolutely filthy. It is absolutely filthy and tied Oregon State in knots. Like, it is a great pitch. Another guy who's hella in the zone. 22 walks to 102 punch-outs. The opponent hits 194 off of him. So it is a three-headed monster for them in the rotation. Their pitching is set, ready to go. And then obviously offensively, you look at Bodine, the catcher, Caden Bodine. He's elite with the glove. He is elite with the bat. He has played himself into the first round this tournament. You look at all the mocks. That guy is a first-round draft pick up there at Coastal. Switch hitter, better from the left side than the right. But, I mean, elite behind the plate, elite at the plate. That kid is awesome. They have plenty of other guys that will go through. If you haven't heard, I'm sure you have, they've won 26 games in a row. And again, you don't do that by accident, especially getting through the postseason like they have. 56-11, that's the most wins in the country. And then you have LSU. And I see all your comments about Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson. And I waited to this point to talk about it. Hot damn, that could not have gone any better for LSU and their pitching staff tonight. You are also set up. Cade Anderson will be on normal rest. And I love having Cade Anderson on normal rest to start game 1 of the championship series, because as great as Cameron Flukie is, as great as Jacob Morrison is, they are not projected to go 1-1 in the draft. Cade Anderson is. He is awesome. Having him available, that's great. You have Kason Evans available to close out one of those 2 games, and now, without having to use Anthony Ianson, you have him available to start game number 2 on 1 day short rest, but he only threw, 44 pitches on Monday night before the rains came? Anthony Ianson will be fresh and ready to go. For LSU, it is very simple. You need to finish that championship series in 2 games. It is that simple. Coastal Carolina has the advantage in game 3 with Riley Eichhoff. They do. They do. Chase Shores will now have days to rest. I don't think you see him potentially until Sunday. Your pitching is in a great spot. Jaden Newt looked awesome. You could bring him back. I think if this gets to a deciding game 3 and you have used up Kason Evans, you go to Zac Cowan to start the championship game. Like, your pitching could not be in a better spot. Overall, I like the way LSU's offense has played in this series. I really do. I think this has been some of their best offensive baseball away from home. And you have a great chance to go win your 8th national championship. The other thing that will just be overwhelmingly in favor of LSU is that crowd. That crowd will be purple and gold clad. You will see the teal, but they will be outnumbered 100%. I know plenty of Tiger fans have been waiting to get up there for this championship series. I had a guy text me tonight saying, hey, what should I do? Should I do this? How should I buy tickets? All that. They're coming, y'all. And that's going to be one hell of an atmosphere at the Chuck with LSU playing for a national championship, their 2nd time in 3 years, and potentially their 8th in program history against the team that you have some pretty sour history with, that you would like to avenge, at least from a fan perspective, and that's going to create one hell of an atmosphere at the Chuck. And I expect LSU to absolutely outnumber Coastal's fans. If that doesn't happen, we got a problem with Tiger Nation. But I expect it to. All right. That's just my brief first little thought here on Coastal. Like I said, we're going to talk a lot of Coastal A lot of Coastal the next few days on Moose with the Box. Y'all get some questions in, and then we'll wrap things up. Please smash the like button if you have not already. Please smash the like button if you have not already. Hit subscribe, YouTube channel, and your favorite podcast app. And let's go ahead and get some questions in if we do. I saw another David send in a super chat, $10. Appreciate him. Talking about how awesome of a game that was. It was David Knockan. You're very much appreciated. What was that game? I don't know, man. I mean, that was bonkers. That thing was absolutely Musso at a wedding hammered by the end of it, and it was awesome. David Knockan says, what about Reeves over Braswell at this point? I'm keeping Braswell's glove in the game. It's that simple for me. Tanner Reeves has 1 hit since April the 12th. It's not like you're really gaining much more offensively. I get it. Braswell's an out right now, but he's an incredibly experienced player in college baseball. He has had massive hits for LSU in his career in the purple and gold. A lot of them came last year. I get it. But you got to go with the glove. You just, for me, you have to go with the glove. You could always pinch hit Reeves. You could always pinch hit, anyone for Braswell when the time comes up. I want the glove in the game with a national championship on the line. I saw one that I really wanted to address. I have to find it because I want to give credit. And I meant to talk about this when we talked about the game. Chris says, why did they pitch to Jones? So they really didn't. They were trying to stay away from him. It was a steady dose of sliders. He did not see a fastball. The problem is Jimenez hung a slider and Jared Jones delivered. Jared Jones stayed back on it, let it travel, and stayed with it the other way to the opposite field. It was 4 sliders. The first one that got too close, he spoiled foul, and then they hung that one, and he took it the other way. That's just a great piece of hitting by Jared Jones. They were trying to stay away from him. Should they have just immediately put him on? That's what I would have done. But I won't actually say that they pitched to him. Mr. Egg says, Musso, what did you think of Myers going breaking ball first pitch to Thomas? I didn't hate it. It's exactly what they did with Chase Shores against UCLA. Shores just executed it better. Myers hung it. And credit Justin Thomas. He was ready for it, and he smoked it. He's a great hitter. That kid was awesome. All World Series for Arkansas. Out of the 9-hole. It's not often your most feared hitter is in the 9-hole. It's not often. I'm sitting here watching that game going, okay, you have it 6, 7, and 8. You need to get those guys in order because I don't want the 9-hole hitter to come to the plate. And that's what it was. They were trying to catch him napping. He wasn't napping. He's a great hitter. You tip your hat to that guy. That was a great piece. But I like it. I like pitching backwards. LSU pitched backwards a lot in this ball game tonight. So, I don't have a problem with that. Let's see. My friend Michael says, what did you think of the Jacob Myers decision? I liked it. You weren't going to go to Anthony Ianson unless you had a lead. It is that simple, and that is the right call. Because what if you go to him, he keeps getting outs, but you can't push a run across, you extend him, ultimately you lose, and you've burned him. And you don't potentially have him to close out a Thursday game. I like the decision, and Myers, while he gave up that hit to Thomas, he came back and went strikeout of Davalon and Aloy to get you in the dugout only down 2. That was huge. That was huge there. Nathan Kling says we got lucky on some errors. If those don't happen, then what should we have done? I will push back on the lucky part. Vahito Aloy had a brain fart and threw the ball over to third base instead of turning it a double play. The left fielder let the line drive from Luis Hernandez. Play him. He didn't play it. That's his fault. Now, what you would have done is you would have lost and you would have started Cade Anderson on Thursday. I don't know who Arkansas would have started because they weren't bringing Gage Wood back. They had burned Root. They had burned Gackle, and you would have had a hell of pitching advantage. And I would have felt incredibly uneasy even regardless of that because that's a really good team and anything can happen in a winner take all. But that's what you would have done. You would have started Cade Anderson And hopefully you would have won. You would have had an insane advantage on the mound, and hopefully you would have won there. So, I mean, that's what you would have done. Gareth LeBlanc says, Moose, what did you think of the ump behind the plate tonight? I thought he had a pretty big zone. I thought he was inconsistent at times, but ultimately I thought he was that way for both teams. I really did. I mean, there were some times I looked at it and I was like, man, that's awful. What are you looking at? There were other times for Arkansas that I'm like, man, that's awful. What are you looking at? He wasn't great, but oh well, you overcame it. I mean, you never win or lose because of the officials. You just don't. Irv says, is there any chance Jay holds Ianson for game 3 of the championship series? Irv, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you win game 1 behind Cade Anderson, you are throwing Anthony Ianson either way, but you're throwing him to close out the championship series. That's what you're doing. You've won behind those two each time. If you lose behind Cade Anderson, you are absolutely throwing Ianson to even that thing up. There is no world where it is okay to hold Anthony Ianson for game 3 of that championship series. Not one reality where that is acceptable. Not one. Smash the like button, please, if you have not already. Let's get a few more questions in here, guys. I ain't tired yet. Let's get a few more questions in. Please share. The Tigers are going to the National Championship Series for the second time in 3 years, a chance to add trophy number 8 to the case. What a great night. Bo Wilson, what about holding Evans for game 3? Bo Wilson, no. If you have a chance to close out a game and Evans is your best arm, which he is, you use him 100%. 100%. Same deal in the regular season when he was starting in those game 3s, right? It was TBA every time. That's that. You are going Anderson, probably Evans to close that game, Ianson, and hopefully Shores to close that game. David Brattle says, sorry if I mispronounced your last name. Fry had a hell of a game, some huge ABs. He really did. Fry, I mean, that double. I mean, finally, Bidelschie's hung that slider on the first pitch, and Fry was ready for it, and he hooked it down the line. That was a huge at-bat. The walk that Fry drew in the, oh man, I already forgot what inning that was in. That was in the ninth, wasn't it? No, yeah, it was in the ninth. The walk he drew in the ninth to put 2 guys on, that was huge. Ethan Fry's been awesome for LSU all season long, man. All season long. He's been great. Just magnificent. Just magnificent. That team deserves a lot of respect. They never quit. They kept fighting. They kept putting the ball in play. They overcame some really poor at-bats and some tough pitches early in that game to put together some great ABs late against more tough pitching. The adjustments were awesome, and they won the ball game. Did Arkansas help them a little bit? Sure. But you have to make those plays. You have to make those plays in order to win the game, and you didn't. There is no clock in baseball. You have to get all 27 outs, and Arkansas struggled doing that at the very end, like they have a lot of times in Omaha. It's just you got to call a spade a spade. That team cannot get out of their own way, and, man, LSU feels a little bit like their boogeyman. I won't lie. I won't lie. And to Goat You Heard says, yeah, you helped them a lot as well. LSU committed 3 errors tonight. Like, it wasn't a very clean played baseball game. It was an awesome baseball game, but it wasn't very clean. Irv says, has LSU seen comparable starters to Coastal? Yeah. They play in the SEC, bud. Absolutely. Liam Doyle, Jared Spencer, Kyson Witherspoon. I mean, I would take those guys over Coastal starters. So, yeah, you have. It's going to be a great series. It's going to be a great series. All right, y'all. That's going to wrap it up. Y'all smash the like button, please, one more time. Share, get subscribed, follow on social media. Stay tuned for more on Musso at the Box.